Okay, Amalia, please.
Baik, thank you, Miss. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Amaliantang. It is a wonderful and precious change for me to be your master of ceremony in this beautiful morning on Wednesday, 27th of April, 2022, in our event Studium General English Education Department. First of all, let us say thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has been giving us guidance, happiness, holy, and mercy so we can attend and participate in this event without any obstacles. Praise and salutation upon our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Allahumma sholli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad, the best figure of this universe, the person who was able to save us from Jahiliyah era. In this beautiful moment, I would like to welcome Mrs. Dr. Weningtyas Parama Iswari M.Ed., who will be the speaker at our event today. The Honorable Mrs. Dr. Zulfani Sesmiarni, SPD, MPD, Dean of Faculty of Tarbiyah and Teacher Training. The Honorable Mr. Dr. Iswantir MPD, Vice Dean 1 of Faculty of Tarbiyah and Teacher Training. The Honorable Ms. Loli Safitri MPD, Head of English Education Department. The Honorable Ms. Apsarini Cardena MPD, Secretary of English Education Department. The Honorable Ms. Feni Ayu, Advisor of English Education Department. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin this event, let us pray together by reading the Al-Fatihah letter. May Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala make this event beneficial for all of us, and this event can run smoothly and conducively. Start praying. Finish. To the honorable guests, to start today's event, let us reflect on the reading of the holy verse of the Quran that will be read by Adilia Ramandini. To Adilia Ramandini, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Walaqad atayna Luqmana hikmata anishkurillah wa man yashkur fa innama yashkuru li nafsihi ومن كفر فإن الله غني حميد. وإذ قال لقمان لابنه وهو يعظه يا بني لا تشرك بالله إن الشرك لظلم عظيم. ووصينا الإنسان بوالديه حملته أمه وهنا على وهن وفصاله وفصاله في عامين أن اشكر لي ولوالديه إلي المصير. صدق الله العظيم. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you to Adilia Ramandini. The next agenda is remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, I immediately invite the head of English Education Department, Ms. Loli Savitri MPD, gives her remarks. Please welcome Ms. Loli Savitri.
Okay, thank you so much, MC. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi rasulillahi ajma'in. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. We're very grateful to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for giving His blessing to all of us so that we are given health, strength to be able to attend this activity in order to take part in a Studium General with the themes Research Methodology in English Language Teaching. Our prayer sent to Prophet Muhammad SAW, who has brought the mankind from the darkness to the brightness. Therefore, let me say some words to welcome all of you. First, I would like to say thanks for the kindness of our Dean, Ibu Dr. Zulfani Sesmiarni MPD to give her opening speech and also open the Studium General this morning. Good morning, Ibu.
Morning, Miss.
Okay. Next, I also like to say thanks to our Vice Dean, Tarbiyah and Teacher Training Faculty, Bapak Dr. Iswantir MAG. Good morning, Bapak. And also our second Vice and the third Vice Dean, Bapak Dr. Charles MPD, and also Bapak Dr. Supratman Zakir MPD MCom. Good morning, Bapak. And my salutations goes to our speakers today, Ibu Dr. Wening Tias Prama Iswari MED, who has kindly accepted our invitations today for the Studium General English Department Study Program. Welcome, Ibu.
Yeah.
Thank
Morning,
you for
Bu
coming.
Loli. Thank you.
Thank you for
You're
coming today,
welcome.
Ibu.
You're welcome.
Next, also the big thanks to our English Department Study Program, our Secretary, Ms. Dr. Apsarini Kardena, and also Ms. Penny Ayumonia in handling this event today. And my big thanks also, or my best welcome to all participants, all lecturers, all teachers and students, and all people who have joined us this morning in this event. Okay, actually, Studium General kita pada pagi hari ini dengan tema Riset Metodologi in English Language Teaching merupakan aktivitas atau kegiatan Studium General yang kita lakukan di setiap semesternya. Pada kali ini kita mengangkat tema Riset Metodologi in English Language Teaching. Ini merupakan bagian dari mata kuliah riset metodologi yang diambil oleh mahasiswa semester 6 di Prodi Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris Yayan Bukit Tinggi. Mata kuliah ini dengan bobot 3 SKS yang mengenalkan dan memberikan bekal ilmu kepada mahasiswa bagaimana meneliti, bagaimana melakukan penelitian dan melaporkan hasil penelitiannya dalam bentuk tugas akhir. Jadi mata kuliah ini sangat bermanfaat bagi mahasiswa dalam menyelesaikan tugas akhirnya menulis skripsi nantinya. Mungkin 3 SKS di dalam jam reguler perkuliahan masih kurang untuk bisa mengenal kembali dan memahami serta fasih dalam melakukan penelitian. Oleh karena itu, pada pagi hari ini kami mengangkat tema Riset Methodology in English Language Teaching dengan harapan bahwa mahasiswa dan para peserta webinar pada pagi ini dapat mengambil banyak ilmu yang mungkin belum bisa didapatkan selama proses perkuliahan dan selama kegiatan akademik di semester ini. Jadi dengan kita datangkan Ibu Dr. Wening Tias Pramaiswari MED dari Universitas Mula Warman, salah satu dosen di Universitas Mula Warman, diharapkan nanti dapat banyak sekali informasi-informasi penting terkait dengan riset metodologi yang belum didapat oleh mahasiswa kita di Prodi Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris Yayan Bukit Tinggi. Oke, mungkin I hope that this event will bring happiness to the participants, and hopefully this event also give benefit for all of us. Have a good time watching and participating in this activity. If there is some mistake in this activity, please forgive us. Jadi terima kasih kembali kepada Ibu Dr. Wening Tias Pramaiswari MED yang sudah berkesempatan hadir memberikan ilmu dan meluangkan waktunya untuk pagi ini kepada kami di Prodi Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris Yayan Bukit Tinggi. By saying Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim and thank you for Ibu Dr. Wening Tias pada pagi hari ini, mungkin kita bisa mendapatkan banyak ilmu di pagi hari ini. Oke, mungkin segitu saja yang bisa saya sampaikan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Ms. Loli Safitri. Ladies and gentlemen, I immediately invite the Dean of Faculty of Tarbiyah and Teacher Training, Mrs. Dr. Zulfani Sesmiarni, MPD, gives her remarks and continue for the opening of the event Studium General English Education Department. Please welcome Mrs. Dr. Zulfani Sesmiarni.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya'i mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajmain. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Yang terhormat Bapak Wakil Dekan di lingkungan FTIK YNP Tinggi, Ibu Ketua Program Studi PBI dan jajaran di studi, Bapak Ibu dosen, para mahasiswa dan mahasiswi program studi PBI yang berhadir pada kesempatan pada pagi hari ini, yang seterusnya seluruh undangan yang bisa bergabung dalam dalam Studium General untuk program studi pendidikan bahasa Inggris pada pagi hari ini. Teristimewa dan yang kami muliakan Ibu narasumber, Ibu Dr. Wening Tias Parama Iswari MID dari Universitas Mula Warman. Assalamualaikum Bu Uning.
Waalaikumsalam Ibu Zulfani.
Semoga Ibu selalu sehat, selalu sukses, dan bisa selalu berbagi dengan kita di lembaga-lembaga yang kemudian ingin maju dan berkembang bersama.
Amin.
Terima kasih atas waktunya diluangkan hari ini sampai siang nanti untuk membersamai kita di FTIK YNP Tinggi, khususnya di program studi pendidikan bahasa Inggris. Semoga apa yang nanti Ibu sampaikan bisa kami terjemahkan dan bisa diimplementasikan di program studi pendidikan bahasa Inggris FITK YNP Tinggi. Baik Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati dan Ibu narasumber yang banggakan. Pertama dan utama sekali, marilah kita mengucapkan puji dan syukur pada Allah. Pada pagi sampai siang hari nanti kita masih diberi kesehatan dan kekuatan oleh Allah, sehingga kita masih bisa menimbang pengetahuan, menuntut ilmu, long life education, belajar sepanjang hayat dari manapun, kapanpun, dan dengan siapapun, dengan langsung dengan sumbernya atau dengan perantara kita berniat semata hanya ingin mendapatkan ridha Allah untuk keberkahan ilmu kita, sehingga apa yang kita niatkan dan apa yang kita lakukan selalulah nantinya dibalasi oleh Allah dengan amal pahala yang berlimpah. Untuk itu selalulah kita bersyukur kepada Allah atas nikmat dan karunia, sehingga ketika kita selalu bersyukur tentu nikmat akan selalu ditambah. Selanjutnya selawat dan salam selalu tercurah kepada Nabi besar Muhammad SAW. Marilah kita perbanyak selawat kepada Nabi besar Muhammad SAW, sehingga nanti orang-orang yang berselawat kepada beliau mendapat syafaat nanti di hari akhir. Amin, amin ya rabbal alamin. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati dan teristimewa kepada Ibu Uning, Ibu narasumber. Pertama kami mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Ibu narasumber yang telah berkesediaan hadir untuk mengisi secara Studium General PBI pada pagi hari ini. Banyak waktu yang tersita yang tertuangkan ke kita pada pagi hari ini sampai siang nanti. Semoga apa yang telah Ibu berikan nantinya menjadi amal ibadah, menjadi amal jariah nantinya karena berbagi ilmu di kita di YNP Tinggi. Selanjutnya terima kasih kepada Ibu Ketua Prodi dan jajaran yang telah mengangkatkan kegiatan Studium General kita pada pagi hari ini, tentu dengan banyak hal yang kemudian kita bisa belajar. Semoga semakin baik dalam pengelolaan program studi, sehingga nantinya ke program studi PBI kita bisa eksis dan bisa akuntabel dan bisa kompetitif nantinya. Terima kasih pada Bapak Ibu dosen, Bapak Ibu yang sudah bersedia hadir untuk membersamai Studium General ini, dan seterusnya kepada mahasiswi dan mahasiswa program studi PBI yang hadir pada kegiatan ini. Marilah kegiatan ini diikuti dengan baik, marilah banyak bertanya dan banyaklah berinteraksi dengan Ibu narasumber nanti, karena kita yakin dan percaya seperti yang dilaporkan oleh Miss Loli tadi, waktu 3 SKS di perkuliahan itu tidak cukup untuk menimba ilmu, maka kita mendatangkan narasumber yang pakar di bidangnya, sehingga nantinya akan semakin bertambah wawasannya, bertambah keilmuannya, bertambah interaksinya dengan tidak hanya dengan dosen kita di dalam, tetapi juga dari narasumber yang kita datangkan pada pagi hari ini sampai siang nantinya. Untuk itu, marilah ikuti kegiatan ini dengan sama. Banyaklah sharing pengetahuan dari narasumber nanti. Biasanya kalau narasumber itu kalau tidak banyak pertanyaan itu akan disimpan ya Bu Uning ya. Tapi kalau banyak pertanyaan kemudian banyak diminta, insya Allah juga akan banyak diberi. Tapi kalau orang tidak meminta, ya jarang orang mau memberi kan, karena orang yakin dia sudah penuh gitu ya, sudah tidak butuh lagi untuk apa diberi. Tetapi ketika orang meminta dalam bentuk pertanyaan, dan tentu otomatis nanti Ibu Uning dan Ibu narasumber nanti tentu akan dengan senang hati juga untuk menjawab pertanyaan-pertanyaan itu. Nah, jadi kuncinya sebenarnya dengan narasumber itu, anak-anak sekalian, adalah banyak-banyaklah bertanya. Semakin banyak bertanya, maka ilmunya akan banyak tertular. Tapi kalau pelit bertanya, ya pelit juga biasanya narasumbernya untuk memberikan wejangan dan kemudian ilmunya. Oke, sekali lagi, marilah sama-sama kita ikuti kegiatan Studium General ini yang tadi sudah dilaporkan oleh Miss Oli, bahwa ini adalah kegiatan rutin yang kita lakukan di setiap program studi per semesternya, dengan harapan menambah wawasan dan menambah pengetahuan kita dari pakar-pakar yang kita tunjuk dan kita anggap ahli di bidangnya. Baik Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati dan Ibu narasumber yang kami muliakan, dan Ananda sekalian yang kami harapkan, dengan menyerahkan diri kepada Allah sepenuhnya, dengan meminta keikhlasan dari Ibu narasumber, marilah kita buka kegiatan Studium General dengan tema Research Methodology in English Language Teaching dengan membacakan basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Semoga kegiatan kita selalu dilindungi oleh Allah, dan Allah berikan keberkahan ilmu kepada kita semua, dan bertahan pula ilmu itu di kepala kita dan bisa kita implementasikan dalam kehidupan kita sehari-hari untuk menjadi calon guru ataupun pelajar di pendidikan bahasa Inggris. Sekali lagi terima kasih kepada kita semua, terutama kepada Ibu narasumber. Marilah kita ikuti kegiatan ini dengan baik. Dengan demikian, itu yang bisa kami sampaikan. Mohon maaf atas segala kekurangan dan terima kasih atas segala perhatian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much to the Dean of Faculty of Tarbiyah and Teacher Training, Mrs. Dr. Zulfani Sesmiarni, MPD, for the remarks and for the opening of the event Studium General English Education Department. The next agenda is praying. The prayer will be recited by our brother Abdul Aziz. To Abdul Aziz, time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya'i wa mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Allahumma fir lana dzunubana wa liwalidina warhamhuma kama rabbayana shighara wa li jami'il muslimina wal muslimat wal mu'minina wal mu'minat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat wa tabi' wa bainana wa bainahum bil khairat rabbi fir warham wa anta khairur rahimin wa la hawla wa la quwata illa billahil aliyyul azim. Allahumma inna nas'aluka salamatan fid din wa afiyatan fil jasad wa ziyadatan fil ilmi wa barakatan fil rizqi wa taubatan qabla al maut wa rahmatan indal maut wa maghfiratan ba'dal maut. Allahumma hawin alaina fi sakaratil maut والنجاة من النار والعفو عند الحساب. اللهم ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين ربنا تقبل منا صلاتنا وصيامنا وركوعنا وسجودنا وتحليلنا ودعاءنا وجميع عبادتنا يا الله يا رب العالمين ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذريتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thanks to Abdul Aziz. May the prayers can be answered by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. The next agenda is entering the main event, which will be led by our beloved moderator, Ms. Absarini Cardena. From the deepest of my heart, I do apologize if there is any mistake. I am Amalia Antang as the master ceremony of today's event. Would like to give the mic to the moderator. To Ms. Absarini Cardena, time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you so much, MC Amalia Antang. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
First of all, I would like to welcome our speaker for today's event in the guest lectures of English Education Department, Ibu Dr. Wening Tias Parama Iswari MED. Welcome, Ibu.
Thank you. Ibu Syahrini. I think there is a connection problem.
So you may call me Miss Rini. Thank you so much, Ibu Wening, for your time to join us being a speaker in this event. Padahal sekitar 5 atau 6 hari lagi udah mau lebaran, tapi alhamdulillah Ibu Wening masih bersedia meluangkan waktu untuk kegiatan kita di 2 hari terakhir kerja ini. Thank you so much, Ibu. Ini benar-benar apresiasi luar biasa dari kami, Ibu bersedia mengisi acara kami ini. And then welcome to all students, especially students who take research methodology subject in this semester. 6 semester students of English education sections of IAIN Bukit Tinggi. Welcome in this event. In this event, we will divide it into 2 sessions. The first one is presentations from Ibu Wening, and then question and answer from all the students and all the participants to Ibu Wening. So I really hope that all students will pay attention to Ibu Wening presentation so that you will get valuable knowledge related to research methodology that maybe you will not get it in the classroom. Okay, let's welcome to our first sessions in this event. We invite Ibu Wening Tias Parama Iswari MED to deliver her presentations in this event. The screen is yours, Ibu.
Thank you, Ibu Absarini, as the moderator of today's event. Salam kenal, Ibu Syahrini, Ibu Absarini. How can I call you?
Just call me Rini, Ibu Wening.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm Wening from Mula Warman University, Samarinda. It's my honor to be invited on this occasion, meeting the big family of English department, IAIN Bukit Tinggi. Bukit Tinggi is such a beautiful city. I visited Bukit Tinggi in 2018 while attending international conference in English language teaching at Universitas Negeri Padang.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
sure,
I
Miss
didn't
May.
want to miss a chance to visit the famous
Yes, yes.
thingy.
Maybe indirectly we met on that conference because I
Yeah,
also
yeah.
joined that conference.
Yeah. I think that we met at that time, yeah, because teachers, lecturers of English joined on that occasion, very big occasion, and the culture, the scenery of Padang and Bukit Tinggi along the way to Bukit Tinggi it's such amazing scenery, yeah? And
Thank you,
I
Miss
hope
Neneng.
all of you can also visit Kalimantan Timur, Samarinda,
Amin.
and Kalimantan Timur. Besides, it's going to be the capital of Nusantara, yeah.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
The center of Indonesia will move to Kalimantan soon.
Yeah,
it seems.
hopefully. Okay. And thank you to Ibu, the Dean of the Faculty of Tarbiyah and Keguruan, yeah, in Universitas Melawan. Perhaps it's similar to FKIP, ya, Fakultas Keguruan dan Ilmu Pendidikan. Thank you, Ibu Julfani. It's really you're such a, it's a blessing for all the faculty to have the dean who paid a lot of attention on the development, professional development, and the enhancement of knowledge, not only for the lecturers, but also for all of the students. And on this occasion, and it also to Ibu Loli, yeah, we have quite an intensive contact for the couple of weeks. And finally, I can meet beautiful ladies here, Ibu Loli. Well, so on this occasion, I was asked to talk about research methodology in English language teaching. And adik-adik mahasiswa semester 6 ya, the students who are taking research methodology, I think what I'm going to present is not something new, but if you already knew about it, it could be the as a refreshment, yeah, enhancement or enrichment. You can get something new from my topic or material I'm going to present. Yeah. So in this topic, I just want to give you a general overview of research methodology in general, and give some example of some research in the field of English language teaching. Yeah. So our field, English language teaching or applied linguistics, is very wide. Yeah. There are lots of opportunity for us to do research. Yeah. Okay, adik-adik, it's nice to meet you all. Hope you can get something from my talk. Yeah. Allow me to share screen.
Yeah, please, Miss Manning.
Yeah. Am I audible enough? Is my voice clear?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Hope this meeting will run well, no technical problem. Because, yeah, thanks to the technology that I'm in Samarinda and you are all in Bukit Tinggi, but we can meet on the screen. Yeah.
We can get lots of knowledge from you via Zoom meeting.
Yeah. So I'm facing my screen, but actually I'm facing all of you. Yeah. There are how many participants here? More than 50, yeah, around 50 participants. That's thank you for coming this morning. Yeah, research methodology in English language teaching. It's a really broad topic. Yeah. Okay. So when we talk about research, yeah, especially students, it seems that it's something very serious, right? But actually, in our daily life, day-to-day basis, research is a part of our life. Like, for example, when we confuse which laptop that we are going to buy, we do a little research. We browse some information about laptop A and laptop B, and then we try to find the strengths and weaknesses. Yeah? We do a little research. Or when we drive along a highway and all of a sudden it is traffic jammed, then we ask question, what happened? It's because of rush hours, or there is a accident happen. Yeah? And then we try to find out what happened. We ask information, or we see whether there is a sign of accident or not. If it is not, then we can make an assumption. Oh, it might be rush hours. Now we can call it a bit of research to answer question. But what we are going to talk on this occasion is not that kind of research. We try to talk about research in a scientific or systematic way. Yeah, so that's why Rod Ellis, the expert in second language acquisition, says that research is a combination between common sense and convention, like common sense, logical thinking, and convention rules. So there are rules, there are requirements if you want to do good research. Yeah. I quote a statement saying from Georgi, a biochemist who received Nobel Prize. He said that research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. And the meaning, I think the meaning is very deep. Research, when we do research, a question might happen from our surrounding, close to our life, but nobody think about it. And then we try to answer that questions by doing research. Now, adik-adik, perhaps you can write down or say, or you might give your opinion why research is important for students. Yeah. So if we take a subject, we learn something and we don't know what is it for, yeah, then there is no reason for us to learn. It's just an obligation. Then the result will not be as good as when we know the benefits of learning something. Yeah. So adik-adik, perhaps you can give your opinion. Why should we learn research? Why should you take research methodology? Yeah. Beside, of course, at the end of your study, you have to write your project. Yeah, you have to write your research or scriptsy or mini thesis. Yeah. Yeah. So adik-adik, do you know why you have to take a research methodology subject in this semester?
Pardon me, Miss?
Yeah, Lutfi, is it Lutfi?
Yes, my name is Lutfi Azhadriane, with student number 229064.
Yeah. Yeah, why Lutfi? Are you taking research methodology subject?
Yes, into the semester in the semester I take the subject research methodology. So I think why do we as a professor why do we have to do research methodology? So my answer is firstly we want to test our curiosity on something. If there is a problem on something, just like there is a gap between our expectation and reality, so that's why we need to test it. That's all, Miss. Thank you.
Thank you. So we would like to test reality, yeah, something which is not meet our expectation, and the expectation and the reality do not match one another, and then you want to know why. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ananda Lutfi, for your sharing. Anyone else want to share why you think research methodology is an important subject? I think you are toward the end of the semester. You learn a lot from the research methodology. Now, I think you have a sense of this subject is important. This subject is interesting, important, and help you a lot, not only in doing your own research later on, but also for your future and for your academic life. Ya. Ada lagi yang mau sharing? Yeah, so when we do research, a lot of activities, a series of the activities we need to follow. Yeah, it's such a we train to think critically. Yeah? From asking question about the reality, about our world, and then how to solve it. Yeah, that's the exercise in critical thinking, to think logically. Yeah, and then to get knowledge, to love reading, because you are forced to read literature, a lot of literature related to your topic, and to read critically as well. Yeah. So problem solving skills also you can get it from doing research. Yeah. So the list can be longer. Yeah, we cannot mention one by one, but research is very important, not only for our study, but also for our future and for our career. Yeah, because we are trained to solve problems. Yeah. Okay, now during these sessions, this is my agenda. I'm going to talk about research in general, the definition, the objective, the types, the philosophy, and the process of research project, and the scope of English language teaching and learning studies. So what opportunities we have to conduct our research. Yeah. And the second part is, then we go to research methodology in English language teaching and learning, the definition, and then the terms research methodology. Sometimes we mix up with the research methodology, and these two terms are not the same, but they are related, closely related, of course. And then the stages of research methodology. Okay. Yeah. Now, let me start with research. What is research? So I give you in the beginning the example of when we want to buy a laptop, and then we do a little research. We use common sense. But then when research in academic context, then there are some conventions, rules, requirements, procedures that we have to follow. Yeah. So literally, research is defined from the dictionary. Research is scholarly or scientific investigation of inquiry or to study thoroughly. Yeah, so scholarly scientific investigation or inquiry. Yeah, that's a study. And another definition related to this topic by Mukherjee in his book Research Methodology. Research is search for new knowledge, like when do grounded theory analysis, we intended to find new knowledge, or for new application of the existing knowledge or for both of them. Yeah. So by new application is that we refer to the existing research finding and then we want to apply it on different setting in different contexts. Yeah. So that's the research. Yeah. Through research, new knowledge is explored by processing various relevant and interrelated pieces of information. We can get information from the data gathering techniques, like through observation, yeah, or experiments or experience. Yeah. So we gather information and then we try to process this in order to answer questions that we posed in the beginning of our research. Yeah. It's not only just information, but the information should be reliable. We can trust the data, yeah, and reproducible. Yeah, we can from one location to another location, from one subject to another subject, so it's reproducible. And the generated knowledge, the result of the research, can be assessed by all interested parties. So it's talking about the dissemination of the research findings or research results. That's why adik-adik, when you do research, you have to write your research result in form of, we call it scriptsy, yeah, or mini thesis. So in order for others to get access to your research result. It's useless if you spend time, energy, budget for doing research, but nobody knows. Yeah, nobody knows your research findings. So it's very important to disseminate your research findings or research result. Yeah. Okay, so that's, I think you already have the sense of what research is. Yeah. And I'm sure that you already know what research is from your class, yeah, from your course. Now, what is the objective of research? Yeah? Why we do research? Okay, so as the definitions before stated that we do research to develop some new concepts, method, or products. Yeah? Perhaps we want to design teaching techniques, new teaching techniques, or modification of communicative teaching, English language teaching techniques. Yeah. We want to find a technique that is suitable to our context. Yeah. Or generalize some existing models or method or techniques to widen the applicability. Yeah. If there is a new technique invented, then we want to try this technique in our context. Yeah. Or to extending to wider or more general setup. Yeah. We use the previous research finding to a broader or to wider context. Yeah. From one level of education to another level of education. Or we want to modify some existing models, method, or result to remove certain constraint or to take them into account explicitly. So, like for example, the history of language teaching methods, for example, from grammar translation method to audiolingual method, direct method, and then communicative method, and then from communicative method, there are some derivative teaching methods, whole language, task-based approach. So all the techniques that exist right now is the result of modifying some existing models, because when one method was found and then implemented, some weaknesses, the practitioners found some weaknesses, and then the researchers try to make it better by doing a research. Yeah? So that's the purpose of research. Some of the purposes, the objective of research. Adik-adik, when you do research soon, yeah, perhaps you already propose a title right now. Now you need to know what is your research objective. Yeah. These four are among lots of objective of the research, yeah, that you can use in your research. Okay, now we come to types of research. Yeah, there are the research, yeah, can be classified at least by three continuum. First is the basic applied continuum, whether our research is theoretical research. Yeah, it's want to we want to create a new theory, yeah, of want to find out a theory, or we want to apply the theory in a real in our classroom, for example. There's a applied basic and applied continuum. Yeah. And another type of research is the continuum between qualitative and quantitative. Yeah. I think when you write your research proposal, later on in your research methodology, especially in your research design, you will say or make a statement whether your research is qualitative, quantitative, or something in between, or mixed method. And research can also be categorized along the continuum of exploratory or confirmatory. Yeah, we'll talk about it soon. Yeah. So if we have this continuum and then we put it as a three intersections like this, we can see on this figure, yeah, exploratory, confirmatory continuum, and then the basic and applied continuum, and qualitative and quantitative. Yeah. Although each of the continuum is independent from one another, but we can put it as intersections. They meet, they will locate it among these three continuums. Yeah. Let me talk it one by one. Yeah. The basic applied continuum, yeah, from the highly theoretical to very practical. Yeah. So our research will be along this at a certain point of this continuum. Yeah. Our research will be close to the basic end, like for example, the research questions: how does the language acquisition device work on children? Language acquisition, Chomsky language acquisition device, yeah? How it works on children. Yeah. It's very theoretical. Yeah? It's not directly applied, but the result of this basic research will give benefits to the practice in the classroom, of course. Yeah. The result become the theoretical foundation of every practice in the classroom. Yeah. So this is the example of basic research. How does the language acquisition device work on children? The result will be a concept or a theory on how language acquisition devices works on children. The example of research that close to applied continuum is how to improve the reading ability of students with reading difficulties. Yeah, in my class. Yeah, it's action research because we are the teachers and we also do research in our own class. Yeah, how to improve the reading ability of some students. Yeah. So this is very practical because we face problems and then we solve the problem in our class. Okay, can you have get the point? Yeah, the sense of the basic and applied continuum. Yeah. So you might think of your research title and then you can imagine on what point you can put your research along this basic applied continuum. Most of the teachers are not interested in the basic research because it's very theoretical. Yeah. Many teachers will concern or are interested in applied research because the result can directly be used in their classes. But the basic research is very useful as the theoretical foundation of any action in the classroom. Yeah. So thanks to the scholars, to researchers who do basic research, because that will give us as a teachers or lecturers insight on why we do something in our class, why we decide something in our class. Yeah? So we are well informed of any decision we make in our teaching practice when from the theoretical foundations we get. Okay, that's the basic applied continuum. And then the qualitative, quantitative continuum. Yeah, I think you're already familiar with this. Quantitative research dealing with numbers and qualitative research dealing with verbal data, yeah, with words. Yeah. Quantitative research, obtrusive, involving controlled measurement. We have tests, yeah, to collect the data, or we have questionnaire, yeah, to collect the data. Yeah, while in qualitative research, it's we research, we investigate in naturalistic, in natural setting. Yeah, we do observation, interview. Yeah, it's a qualitative research. It's objective, and the position of the researcher is removed from the data. It's very objective, while the qualitative research is subjective. Yeah. So in qualitative research, we need to be aware of the research bias. Yeah? That's why we need a triangulation or validity of our data. And then verification-oriented confirmatory. Yeah, we start quantitative research with strong theoretical basis or concept, and then we try to confirm in reality. Yeah, so this empirical, we need an empirical study to find facts to prove the existing concept. But in qualitative research is discovery oriented. Yeah. We start from facts, we start from reality in order to get theory or concept. So it's the other way around. So when you do quantitative research, your literature review, your theoretical foundation should be strong. Yeah. Because any research action that you do, it should refer to the theory or the concept. The instrument you used to collect the data should also be supported with theories or concepts. Yeah. That's in quantitative research. But in qualitative research, the theory is only to start with, yeah. But then the result will be we can produce, create a new knowledge or new information. Quantitative research is outcome oriented, while in qualitative process oriented. Yeah. So that's why we follow the process. And then qualitative research is more time consuming. Yeah. in generally speaking. And then the data is reliable and hard and replicable data. I mean, hard data, it means it's factual data, quantitative data. We do tests, we get score, and that's hard data. While soft data in qualitative research, it's qualitative information we get from interview, the words, the meanings expressed by our participants, research participants, that's soft data. And the result of quantitative research is generalizable. So from sample is the result that we get from a particular sample, and then it can be generalized to the population. While in qualitative research, we cannot generalize the result, because we try to get deep insight, deep understanding of a case. And then the quantitative research assumes that reality is stable, that reality, the question can be answered in using a tool, measurable measurement, using measurement, and the answer is stable, fixed. While in qualitative research, we assumes that the reality is dynamic. There are so many aspects involved in the reality. There are lots of factors that we need to consider when we do qualitative research. And the researchers is close to the data, because we approach the respondents or participants, and then we interview, ask questions. We're very close to the source of the data. Here is the example of qualitative and quantitative continuum. Like, for example, if our research is toward the end of quantitative, the end of this continuum, qualitative and quantitative continuum. For example, does bilingual education affect the learning of a third language acquisition? So it's a comparison study. We will compare the students in bilingual education groups, and we compare with non-bilingual education, and then how these two groups acquire the third language. This is quantitative, because we're dealing with scores. And then the example of research at the qualitative end is, how do teachers build rapport through teacher talks? How do teachers build good relationship with the students through their talk? So of course we cannot use numbers in this case. We use words. We observe. We analyze teachers' words in the way that they build good relationship with the students. It's a qualitative one, discourse analysis. And something in the middle between qualitative and quantitative, how is the student's perception toward the use of technology in language learning? We can do this topic using mixed method. Perhaps we start with survey, questionnaire, distributing questionnaire to large population, to large samples. Let's say students at a particular senior high school, at one senior high school in Bukit Tinggi. And then from the result of the questionnaire, we take a representative from each group, perhaps from students in a group who have positive perception toward the use of technology, or neutral and negative perceptions, and then we select one student or two students from each groups, and then we interview these students in order to get more or deeper insight to enrich the data. So this is mixed method. So qualitative, if we think that in qualitative and qualitative, there are things that cannot be covered, and then we try to combine with mixed method. But be careful, in mixed method, it's more, we deal with a lot of activities and also a lot of data. So it's ideal, but it's also time consuming to do mixed method study, and we deal with a very big data because we have to work with quantitative data as well as qualitative data. But it's interesting to try. Okay. And the last types of research is exploratory and confirmatory continuum. Whether exploratory, confirmatory. So whether a study is trying to find information to answer a research question without any hypothesis, or to support hypothesis. So without hypothesis, it means it's more as a qualitative one. And to support hypothesis, it's more quantitative research. So like I give you an example of confirmatory research here. Silva's study, she tries to compare between non-native speakers and native speakers' emotional response to directives that begin with "why don't you?" The expressions of "why don't you" in an English speaking countries, there's non-native speaker and native speaker. How is the reaction? Silva's has an hypothesis to test, to confirm. American non-native speakers will fail in their judgment of appropriateness of directives in the frame "why don't you" in their second language, in English, due to their influence of their first language pragmatic competence. It can be approached in qualitative and quantitative. It depends on how they collect the data. They can, if it is quantitative, then they can give a questionnaire to the respondents, and then quantify the result. An example of exploratory research is Lam and Lawrence case study on observing the changes in students, teachers, roles in a computer-based projects. So observe, interview the teachers and as well as the students. How they play a role in computer-based projects. So this is to explore the phenomenon. That's the example of exploratory and confirmatory continuum. And as this continuum is independent, but we can put it together into intersection. Like I give you an example of Go investigated how the listening comprehension techniques interact one another. So he selected two students, one with high listening proficiency and another one with low listening proficiency. They are both exposed to listening proficiency, and they are asked to listen to passages with built-in pauses. So they listen to an extract and then stop, and then they were asked on the process of how to comprehend the talk, the spoken language, using verbal protocol procedures, to distinguish between whether the students use actual tactics or general knowledge strategies, or whether they combine both of them. So this research using verbal protocol procedures can be put in this three-dimensional intersection that this research is exploratory. It's an exploratory research. There is no this goals that did not start with a hypothesis, but you want to explore the reality. It's placed toward the end of exploratory end. And in the terms of whether it is basic of applied research, this research is basic research, because she wanted to find out the interaction of two listening comprehension techniques, and then it's also qualitative research. So the intersections of the types of research is at this can be seen on this figure. So GOS study is exploratory, basic, and qualitative research. Okay. Ibu Rini, shall we allow question or we wait until later?
Is that the question for now, or we continue it? It will be okay.
Yeah. So I'm afraid that adik-adik will forget information. It's quite a lot, so I don't know whether we can cover all of them.
Okay, so maybe so far we will open question first, maybe Ibu Weni.
Yeah. I think if you have any question, I think anyone can interrupt me and ask question. Yeah.
Okay.
So don't wait until
the end of the presentation.
Yeah. I will forget what I said previously. It's wait until the end.
Okay.
Jadi adik-adik feel free to ask question. So it's a sharing, not only questions. Perhaps you have your information, experience you can share here. Like Ibu Dekan said, the more you ask question, the more information you will get.
Yes, that's
because
right.
Because I don't know what you know and you don't know. So just keep on going if you have no question. I assume that you understand, you get my point. Jadi silahkan, feel free.
Okay, so students, if so far you have questions, you may just like what Ibu Dr. Wening previously stated, that you may interrupt to ask questions directly to Ibu Wening. And then we can discuss it before continuing to the next materials. Is that? So far, before we continue it, any questions so far, guys? So far, so good, it says.
Yeah, again, it's still the research in general. I think it's very important to know the basic information about research, so you know exactly the position of your research, where it is. If you say it's quantitative, why it is quantitative, why it is qualitative. So you should know the characteristic of each types of research. Beside the types, I'm going also to talk about the philosophy, research philosophy. It's a theoretical basis, but you need, as a researcher, you need to know the philosophy behind your research activities. Because the knowing the research philosophy will affect your research methodology, and research methodology will affect your research methods. So it's a kind of a series yeah, that you need to exactly know your research. Yeah, while I think we can, I just can go on with my slides. Research philosophy, what is it? So research philosophy deals with the source, nature, and development of knowledge. Deals with the source, we have the nature and development of knowledge, where we get the knowledge. What is the characteristic of the knowledge that we get, and how the knowledge is developed. So in simple terms, research philosophy is belief about the ways in which data about a certain phenomena should be collected, analyzed, and used. Yeah. So we believe that this is the right way to answer my research question. This is the right way. I believe that this is the right way to collect my data, to analyze my data, and the result will be useful for something. Yeah? So it's very, the research belief in the research that we do, yeah, the researchers do, okay? Now, when we talk about research philosophy, we also talk about ontology and epistemology. Yeah. Ontology and epistemology shapes the research philosophy. Okay. Now, the ontology is what the world is, the nature of reality. What the world is and the nature of reality, while epistemology is how we can know about it, how we can know about their reality, how we can understand about a phenomena, a certain event, and what constitutes acceptable knowledge. Jadi pengetahuan yang bisa diterima itu yang bagaimana, bagaimana kenyataan, bagaimana kehidupan atau masalah ini, what the world is, and how can we get knowledge about it. Okay, well, so ontology believes there are three types of ontologies and three types of epistemology that will bring to particular research philosophies. Yeah, when the ontology believes that there is only one reality of a specific event, one reality, and the knowledge can be measured using scientific rules with reliable tools and design, then our research philosophy is positivism. So when there is only one reality, like for example, we want to know our students' speaking ability, using a particular teaching technique, for example. And then we measure our students' speaking ability using a particular tools, reliable tool, that is test. So that's why the test should be reliable. It should be reliable. That's why before we disseminate, we administer the test to our sample, we need to try out the test in order to get the reliability and validity. If you use tools or tests which is not reliable, and then we cannot trust the data. We cannot trust the data that we get. So we should start with the instrument. The instrument should be reliable. That's why it's very important to try out our instrument, test, for example, or questionnaire. So if that's the example of one reality, and this the knowledge that we get from this reality can be measured using scientific rules with reliable tools and design, then we go to positivism. Yeah, it's more quantitative kind of research. Yeah. And the second type of ontology is it believes that there are many realities. Realities is not only one, it's more than one. And the knowledge we get from these multiple realities is interpretive in nature, so it needs to be interpreted and explained. Yeah, we want to know the student perceptions toward the use of Zoom during our online learning. Yeah, so we interpret the words, the expressions when they interviewed, the action when we observe the students, yeah, and we explained that information. We call it constructivism, research philosophy. Yeah. And if we think that reality can be one or more than one, then the knowledge can be examined using best tools, scientific design, and as well as interpretations, and then we go to pragmatism research philosophy. It is more as a mixed method research design. Yeah. So now I think you can go back to your research titles if you already one, if you have proposed one, or you have in mind, and you can imagine what type of research I will have, and then what philosophy behind this, whether the question can be approached using reliable tools, or it should be interpreted, or it should be measured as well as interpreted. Yeah, that's the if you know your research philosophy, and then you can be well-informed researchers. You exactly know the reasons why you do that. Yeah. Okay. So adik-adik, you're already in the 6th semester. Do you have your research topic in mind, or you already propose one, or next semester? Yeah, Ibu Rini, are they proposing their title already now, or
actually they can propose the title to the department at the end of the semester, but we in the research method class have guided them, have lead them to find out their topics to discuss in their thesis since this semester, because if they start it now, it will help them later.
Yeah. So I think you already have a topic in your mind, research topic in your mind, and it should be in your own interest. Yeah. You are interested to know, to investigate the phenomenon. Yeah. It's not the topic that you are forced to do, because the result will not be good, and you are not into it. Yeah, it's difficult to get a good result if you are not interested in the topic.
Yeah. Actually, Bu Wenning, here we have a phenomenon among students to find out the title and not to find out the problems of the research first. So that's why most of them mostly get difficulties to conduct the research, because they start by finding out the title. Not the problem of the research.
Yeah. Yes, it's right, Bu Rini. It also happened in my department. They propose a title. The title, the title can be revised along when we have consultation. Even the title can be changed in the seminar proposal.
Yes, that's right.
But you need to start with your the topic. Yeah. So that the title can be written later. Yeah. Of course. when during the consultation, when the supervisors advise the students to change the title, it seems that it's changed everything.
Yeah, it seems for the students that it's the end of the word.
Yeah, actually we refining their title so that it is researchable gitu. Karena kadang judulnya the title is not researchable, it's difficult to approach the title. Yeah. So when we come to the topic, and then we can be flexible in our title gitu. Yeah, I think knowing the research philosophies, and then you can have in your mind, you have the topic, and then how you approach this topic. Yeah, you have question, you have topic or question in your mind, and then you can think of what is your belief, whether you believe that this question, this problem can be solved, can be approached using tools or using interpretations, yeah, or mixed methods, yeah. Then you know why you take a particular teaching research method, ya. Jadi ini bisa menjadi alasan kenapa kita memilih sesuatu. So we really need to be well informed about our decision.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is the research project that you are going to do later on. Yeah, it's not a single activity; it's multiple activities. Yeah, it can be back and forth, I think. Yeah, kalau di seminar hasil lots of input, revision, and then you need to go back to writing your proposal, and then so it's a really step-by-step process. You really need to, as we say, that doing research is you spend time, you spend energy. Yeah, it should be disseminated, and it should have benefits. It should have significances. In my case, many students just write the significance of study as it is. It's just like that should be there without thinking seriously what is the significance of the research. Yeah, but I think it's very important to think deeply. What is the result of my research for? Gitu ya.
What is it for?
Yeah, what is it for? Because as we know that doing research, we spend a lot of time, energy. Yeah, we get stressed. Wherever we go, the research is in our mind. Ya, kan kalau ada penelitian, nggak hanya siswa ya, not only students. We are obliged to compulsory to do a research. Yeah, so when we haven't finished our research, wherever we go, we bring our laptop. It's happened to me. If I have research to close to the deadline, whenever I go to my mother, I always bring my laptop. Whether I use the laptop or not, I just bring it close to me. That's just to feel confidence. Yeah. So the process, the research project is start with identifying a gap in the literature. Yeah. Tadi adik siapa ya yang memberi masukan, already mentioned about the gap. Yeah. It's very important. So research, of course, it's impossible that we do research from the very first time. The topic, no one else investigated the topic. It's quite impossible. We always start our research by reflecting on the previous studies, and we try to find the gap, and we try to fill the gap. Yeah, and we talk about this gap later, because the gap can be in methodological, in theoretical, yeah, in investigator. Yeah, we try to fix the gap or the novelty of our research. What is new in our research? And you should state it in the introduction to give a strong argument that our topic is worth researching, because there's still a gap. Yeah, in our research. And then select the topic of interest. As I said, that it's the topic, you are interested in the topic. Yeah? And then you need to read lots before you decide your research question. Yeah? You decide your topics of your research. You really need to read a lot, especially the journal, the latest journal articles. By the latest journal articles, it means the last 5 years of publication. Ya, jadi 5 tahun terakhir. If it is out of date, you read out of there, you refer to out of date journal. We afraid that your topic is out of date. Yeah, not people do not talk about it anymore because there are. It's already saturated, yeah. Sudah jenuh gitu. Like for example, motivation, right?
Yes, that's right.
Motivation is the most, I think, the most important factors in language learning. Is it true? But many researchers, lots of researchers, yeah, huge number of researchers did research on this topic, motivation. Gitu. Yeah, it's like we get tired of it. Gitu. But still, they're still open for researchers to do a research if there is something new about it. Like, for example, Gardner's motivation theories. People refer to it. But then around 2010, Dornier came up with ideal self motivation theory. We can then continue to search motivation on the basis of Dornier second ideal self of second language users. Yeah. So we try to find what is new in our research. That's very important. And then the next step, if we choose methodology and method, whether we go to positivism, constructivism, pragmatism, and then when we do, we believe that our research problem can be approached on the basis of a positivism philosophy, and then we go to quantitative research, for example. Yeah. That's the choice of methodology, yeah? And then we start writing the proposal. When our proposal is approved, and then we are ready to go to the field and we do our research and we collect data, and then we analyze the data or the findings, yeah? And then we write up the result, yeah? And editing and revising and then submitting, yeah? So it's a long way to submit the research report. Yeah. So we really need to be patient. Yeah. Many students run away in the middle of doing the research. Yeah, yeah. I have some students, and I'm the supervisors. It's a kind of 1 year missing. Yeah, and then suddenly they came. Near the injury time. Gitu.
Yeah, it also happens here. Not only for 1 year without news, it can be 2 years.
Yes, yes, yeah, and that makes the coprodi get headache. Yeah.
Do you feel so, Miss Loli?
Yeah, Ibu Yuni, the head of the department, always. Yeah, poking, contacting the students to finish the study. And even we asked the lecturer to be more tolerable to the quality. Yeah, itu kan jadinya it's not good if we... So it's also perhaps because when we start our research and then we put it aside for quite some time, and it's difficult for us to start again, right? So it's good, adik-adik, when you started your research, you have to set time every day to write about your research, to read related to your research. Although it's only half an hour, but you always get in touch with your research. Yeah, because when we leave it for some time, and it's really hard because we have to start all over again from the beginning. Yeah, if we leave it for months, for years, gitu. Udah lupa. Okay.
Ibu Wening,
Yeah.
related to the stages of the process of research project here and our discussion related to the students who just go away for a year or 2 years, do you think that it relates to the topic that they select in the proposal? Maybe they don't really feel interested to the topic, they just leave it behind and do not look again to the proposal.
Yeah, it could be. There are so many reasons why students could not finish their research on time. Yes, spend a lot of time or neglect the research. First perhaps because they don't know what is it for doing that research. I'm going to be a teacher. I'm not going to be a researcher. Well, we know exactly that through research we learn a lot.
Is it my signal?
Have career, problem solving, logical thinking, critical thinking, so very important. So research is not only an obligation, but it's also important for the development of knowledge and problem solving skills. Yeah. And then second, it could also be because they are not interested in the topic.
Ibu Wening? Is it my signal or Ibu Wening ya? Oh, it has been 100, 100 pula. Miss Wening. So please wait for all students. Karena kapasitas kita cuma 100, Ibu Wening sepertinya terlempar tidak sengaja keluar Zoom. Just wait here till Ibu Wening join us.
I'm sorry for technical problem.
It's okay, Ibu. I'm afraid that you cannot join us because the capacity of the Zoom is only for 100.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let me continue. Yeah. So that's so many reasons, yeah. Or perhaps students find a job and started to enjoy their career. Yeah, some of my students are like that. Yeah, they said that I'm busy working, ma'am. Yeah, so that's there are so many reasons. My experience when I studied at Monash University, my supervisor gave a fixed schedule that every week the students should meet her to report the research progress. Yeah. Well, I think that's an ideal thing, yeah. But as you know, perhaps Burini also have tens of bimbingan, students. We cannot spend that times a lot. Or perhaps what we can do with the Zoom facility, we can have a regular meeting with all of our supervised students on Zoom. Perhaps that will just to keep track on their progress. I think it's also based on our experience as students, Burini. When supervisors, our supervisor do not contact us, then we just aman. It's safe. Then when our supervisor send messages, then we get panic.
But for our students, there are too many students that should be contacted one by one.
That's our problem. There's so many students. That's why I have groups supervise my students based on the year, 2019, 2018, gitu, But of course, the progress, the research progress of every student is different, gitu. Nggak bisa disamakan. But the solution for students who are near the injury time, close to the injury time, is having bimbingan bersama, joint consultation, gitu, scheduled by the department. So they are forced to report at the same time. That's the treatment, special treatment for senior students. Because adik-adik, if you late, your study, you spend your study longer, then the more budget that your parents will spend, more time you spend to finish your study. But it also affect the university, the department, the accreditation, gitu. So saling membantu lah, untuk kebaikan bersama, for the benefits of both all. Okay, now the scope of English language teaching and learning studies are huge. Perhaps students might get confused in deciding or selecting what to investigate, what research they're going to do. So here there is it's trying to capture the area, the scope of our field of study. We can investigate the language itself, more on linguistics aspect, the language itself. We like in content analysis, we analyze a textbook, we analyze a text, in terms of the grammar or the vocabulary used in the text, the language itself. The elements of the language, or in the wider discourse, the text, whether it's oral or written or multimodal or multimedia, with the intensive use of online, internet, and then social media. The text can come from those sources. Or the communicative event, the looking at the socio-cultural, interactional, or transactional use of the language, whether the language is used in academic context, at a particular settings, or using a particular text type or genre. or we look at the cognitive or affective domain, like the motivation, the attitude, the aptitude, yeah, the strategy. Yeah. So lots of things that we, the scope is very wide. Yeah, it's very wide domains. So we have a range of choices based on our interest. Okay. Okay, that's about the research in general. Masih mau lanjut di research? Can we continue with the research methodology, or is there any question to ask?
So any question, students? Okay, no questions.
Perhaps you can share your research topic, and then we discuss the what type of research, what the philosophy underpinning the research methodology and research method. Ya, mungkin ada yang mau share, voluntarily share your research topic.
Yes, just like mind mapping that we made for the problem for your research in the classroom.
Yeah, you can share here.
So actually, for a few weeks ago, in Wening,
Yes.
in the classroom, we tried to make a mind mapping of the issues or problems that they are going to write down later as their proposed.
Yeah. So student brainstorm on ideas and then try to map the topic. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good. So well, if you have that kind of mapping, yeah, mind mapping, and then you group yourself into particular topic, like the students who are interested in language assessment, or students who are interested in skills, language skills, for example, you can make a group and have like a group study group, yeah. Because if you have a group, you talk together, you share information, you discuss your problems, I think you will not feel alone. Yeah. So if we doing research, it's like something that we do it by ourselves. We are alone. Yeah. So if we have a group in which you can share information, discuss your topic, I think that you will be also motivated to finish your study. Information in form of sharing articles, yeah. Perhaps it's a luxurious things to have an journal articles, yeah, especially the credible one. We have to subscribe, it is locked, and if it is locked and then we try to steal it using illegal applications, ya, supaya dapat jurnal itu gitu ya. But if we study abroad, if we have experience study abroad, then library sources accessible gitu, itu gampang gitu. Well, sometimes I contact my students or my colleagues who are studying abroad to find a particular article that I need because we cannot get it here. Yeah. So having a group of students, a group of research students, you can share your research problems and information. Yeah.
Okay, Ibu Wening, actually there is one sharing from Lutfi Azhar in our chat room.
Okay.
Lutfi said that he is actually going to do a research about extensive listening. Is this extensive listening is used to improve students' comprehension and listening skill? That's the main topic of the research.
Yeah. Sebentar, okay. So the topic is on listening comprehension and how to improve students' listening comprehension using using a particular technique. Yeah. So Lutfi, are you there? Okay, Lutfi. This research, if we look at the research, it sounds like an experimental study, yeah, or action research. It is experimental study if you think that a new techniques never been used by the teachers on a particular context on a classroom has the possibility to improve students listening comprehensions. You believe based on your literature review that this techniques offers a lot in improving students listening comprehension, and then you want to experiments using this on a particular class. Yeah. That's experimental study. But if you start your study from a problem in the classroom, so it's a collaborative action research. You collaborate with the teacher in a particular class. The class has a problems that many students have difficulties in listening. Oh, sorry, you are doing extensive listening, yeah? The technique is extensive listening. And to see whether extensive listening improve the students' comprehension. It sounds like an action research. Yeah? So the class has a problem in listening comprehension because that limited time to study in a class, then extensive listening can be a solution because students will listen outside the class and discuss it in the classroom, but they listen lots of spoken languages, for fluency. Usually extensive listening and extensive reading is for fluency, and to improve students' motivation to love reading or to love listening. Yeah? So because extensive listenings have some characteristic that they can select what they read or what they listen of their own choice. Gitu. That's one of the characteristic of extensive listening and extensive reading. So it can be action research or it can be experiments. Yeah. Or it can be qualitative if you want to know the students' perceptions on the use of extensive listening, how they select the topics, yeah, how they get from what sources they get the listening. Yeah. So you can bring it to whether it's qualitative and quantitative. If you believe that your research problems can be answered using numbers, quantitative data, then you go to quantitative. Or if you have a hypothesis in the beginning, and then you go to confirmatory type of research. So it depends on your belief about how you can answer the problems. Go to the research philosophy, positivism, constructivism, or pragmatism. Jadi mau dibawa kemana ini bisa. It depends on how you formulate your research question.
Yeah. Ibu Wening, related to Lutfi's topic, maybe Lutfi also should think it over if this kind of research will be conducted through experimental research or action research. Maybe we have to take care about how to measure students' activity outside of classroom, because extensive listening must be conducted outside of classroom. Yeah. What do you think, Ibu?
Yeah, that's the problem of outside activities, out of class activities. Yeah, we cannot say whether they really do it or not. Gitu.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, based on my experience in my reading class. In my reading class, I both practice intensive reading and extensive reading, combination of that. For extensive reading, I allow them to select what they want to read, and then they report it using weekly reading log. Yeah. So they write what they read and what they like about it, or what they don't like about it. And also they make a group and they create Instagram account, yeah, and in which they promote the reading, the text that the novel or the stories that they have read on the Instagram. That's the, or in a particular meeting, and then we have a book club, yeah, in which they in breakout room they talk about what they read outside the classroom. So that's the way we track that the students really have reading. They really read outside the classroom.
Yes.
Yeah, there is no test. Yeah, there is no test. There is no, of course, yeah, reading, listening, or reading comprehension for extensive reading. But we detect the students' progress through various kind of report, like what I already mentioned.
We have the second one in the chat room,
Yeah.
Ibu Eni.
Gusti Rahmi Putri. I'm going to use the topic about vocabulary mastery. The research is to increase student vocabulary. Okay, vocabulary mastery. You are interested in vocabulary mastery. And actually for EFL student, vocabulary is very important, yeah, because it will affect other language skills. Yeah. Your topic is quite broad, yeah. Mastering vocabulary. In what aspect of mastering vocabulary do you want to do? Whether you will propose a particular technique to improve, like Lutfi, extensive listening, yeah, or is there any particular techniques that you are going to experiment in a particular class, or whether you want to, let's say, there is a receptive vocabulary and productive vocabulary. Students have a bigger number of receptive words compared to productive words. Yeah, you want to help students to drag the receptive vocabulary into more productive one. Then you offer strategies on how to make the passive vocabulary into active vocabulary, misalnya gitu ya. That's for example. So you really need to narrow down the topic of mastering vocabulary, the mastery vocabulary mastery, because it's very broad topic. Of course, we will get lost, yeah, if our topic is too broad. Yeah, we should think of what is researchable with the available time, with the available resources. What can we do in our research? Yeah, gitu. Yeah.
Okay, maybe for the next Nuzula Ramadhani, you may speak directly,
Nuzula.
speak up directly.
Yes, Miss. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh. Yeah,
So,
Nuzula.
yes, Miss. So, after reading some sources that I have done in research methodology, so I am interested in doing a research about English language teaching, learning, and media. And I also have make some. It's not about the kind of media, but what media for. It's for young learner. I'm interested in the media for young learner, and I was thinking about two medias, about cartoon and song. It's usually used in teaching English for young learners. So I want to know which one is more effective between using cartoon or song. So I still confused about what design I'm going to use if my research question is which one is more effective between using cartoon or song as the media for teaching English for young learners, Miss.
Okay.
Maybe that's all from you, Miss.
Okay, thank you, Nuzula,
Thank you,
for
Miss.
sharing your research topic. It sounds like comparison, yeah, comparing two techniques.
Yes, Miss. Compared to me.
Comparing to techniques, I think I'm afraid that there will be, it can be a two research, two studies using cartoon and using songs. You better focus on one, whether cartoon or songs, or whether songs with animated cartoons. Yeah. So using songs animated cartoon, it means that through video. Yeah.
Yes, Miss.
Yeah. The students are as exposed to videos, teaching them the songs with the visualization of animated cartoons. Yeah. So then you can do an experiments on these young learners. Comparing cartoon and songs, I think you need to have a theoretical basis to bridge between the two. Why you want to compare songs and cartoon? What is the connection? Yeah. What is the foundation? What is the theoretical basis for you to connect them? Yeah. If you have no theoretical foundation, then we cannot do comparing the things. Yeah. Like, for example, the connection between the color, the hair color, and the favorite food, for example. There is no theory indicating to correlate the two. Yeah, like cartoon and songs. Yeah, what is the bridge that might relate the two? So my suggestion is that you read a lot and think a lot to decide which one.
So it's better to make it in experimental design than comparison, Miss?
For comparisons, if you compare songs with cartoon, so it means that one group you teach English using media cartoon, yeah, and then another group using songs. And then you need to have the reasons, arguments, why you want to correlate cartoon and songs. Yeah, we cannot just want to. I want to because there are five children like both of them. Yeah. My suggestion is that you select one. Yeah. You have control group and experimental group. Yeah. To see whether the experiment group give a better result or not compared to the control group. Yeah. So if you are interested in both cartoon and song, like as I said, you use video as a media, teaching student English through songs with animated cartoon, misalnya gitu. Yeah. You get it?
Yes, thank you, Miss. I got it. Thank you so much, Miss.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, good, Nuzula. Next, Dila Azhani, are you here, Dila?
A week ago, I found an issue about lost learning. Oh, okay.
Okay, Dila.
Yes, Miss. I'm here, Miss.
Yeah. Dila, it's quite interesting phenomenon, yeah, topic, yeah. Lost learning because of the pandemic, because of remote emergency remote learning.
Yes, that's right.
There are lots of problems, especially like in East Kalimantan. There are many remote area where students did not have access to internet, yeah, to appropriate gadget. Yeah, they have problems in learning. So it's like there is a issue of lost learning. You're interested in this, and I think it's very interesting and current. Yeah, the topic is very up to date because it is what we face right now. Now you confused of how to do this research. Perhaps you can ask yourself how you can approach this topic. Can I use kind of questionnaire or survey? Yeah. Or should I interview some of the participants? Yeah. If you think that you will get data by interviewing, then you go to having verbal data to analyze. You go to qualitative study. Yeah. In this case, you might have a case study. Yeah. You select a particular participants of your study which meet your criteria.
Pertanyaan di YouTube, kan?
Yeah. So criteria, yeah. So you need to set criteria. If in qualitative study, you select the representative participants, you need to set the criteria first. Yeah, who are eligible to be your research subject. Yeah. Now you can go to qualitative one, or you might have a narrative inquiry. That's very interesting. Yeah, you listen to stories of students in remote area where they have no access to internet, in which they have to walk hundreds, tens of kilometers to get. Usually, when they have no internet access, students will come to school, or the parents come to school to get the material, the learning material, or to submit the students' work, yeah, weekly, yeah, or the teachers, like in a plantation area in East Kalimantan, the teachers come visit the students, yeah, to give the material. Yeah. And in some cases, in one family, there is only one gadget, one mobile phone. Then the siblings have to use it in turns, use the gadget in turns. That there's the problems, yeah, in learning during the emergency remote learning. Then you try to explore, yeah, to explore the stories from those students. Yeah, it can be a narrative inquiry, yeah, or it can be case study.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
Tapi
actually,
menarik, ya.
Yeah, actually, this topic can be divided into several kinds of research design.
Yeah, it's broad topic because it's broad. Or you might, perhaps some of your friends are interested in the same topic, lost learning. You might divide this topic into subtopics in which every students investigate the subtopic. For example, the topics of the lost learning in motivation, in the facilities, yeah, or support from the parents, yeah, or parental involvement in the learning, yeah, that might indicating the loss of learning, yeah, because the parents' assistance in learning during remote learning is very, very important, especially when we talk about the elementary or junior level, secondary level of education. Parent assistance is very important. Perhaps this one can also contribute to loss of learning.
Or trouble for in doing research.
Yeah. So I think you can do this, yeah, with some of your friends. When you have share a broad topic or broad themes together, and then you can share resources, articles, etc. Yeah. Perhaps you need to narrow down from what aspects of lost learning, or what perhaps you want to know what is the causes of lost learning, or what kind of lost learning that take place so far during the pandemic. Yeah. So you talk about the students' experiences during undergoing the. It can be a phenomenology, qualitative analysis study, yeah, asking about student experience. Karena mungkin sekarang udah new norm.
New normal.
Imelda, which one is better? I'm looking. Oh, sorry. Dila, is that? Do you have any more question?
No, Miss.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Dila, for sharing. And then Imelda, I want to ask which one is better, looking for the title or finding the problem first in doing research? Okay, yeah, Ibu Rini already mentioned, yeah, many students came to us, the lecturers, supervisor with title, yeah. Yeah. So we can talk together with the title, but you need to come with the problem, with the topic, yeah. And then we help you to narrow down to make the topic more focused, yeah, and researchable. Yeah. So the title can be later, can be refined, yeah, later. But what you need to have is the problems or the questions, the problem to answer. Because research is not having a good title, but research is a way to answer a problem.
Okay, there's a very excellent quotation, Ibu Rini. It's not about the title, but it's about the problem itself.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, there is one question from Rahmi Novianti, Ibu Weni. It is actually 8th-semester student. So Rahmi has
Rahmi has started the research, yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, perhaps it's the last, yeah, because I still have lots of slides. If I cannot finish this, then you can read. But I think it's a good thing, yeah, to share like this rather than lecturing. You can read my slide. I think it's quite comprehensive because I try to get so many information from many resources. Yeah. Jadi nanti after this there will be also a question answer like this. But this one is the last for this session. Yeah. Rahmi, okay, Rahmi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm going to do an experimental. Have you started your experimental research or still writing your proposal?
Yes, Miss. I'm still writing my proposal right now, Miss.
Okay. Confused about my control and experiment class because of the place that I'm going to do a research. There is only one class and one grade. So it's confused. Oh, okay. So you will have one group experiment, yeah. So what you are going to do is to compare the pre-experiment and post-experiment because you only have one. You don't have a control group, and it's also impossible to split the class, right? Because you cannot have a special or extra schedule for you to teach as the part of the experiment. Yeah. So is it possible to have? This is the simplest kinds of experiment study. Yeah. Because you only have one group, yeah. But it is possible to do this. Yeah. When you do an experiment, you need to really focus on what you try to treat. Yeah, the treatment. In the treatment, you need to minimize any other variables that might interrupt your experiments, because the result can be, if the students' English achievement, like for example, increase, perhaps it's not because of the particular techniques you give to the student. It's perhaps other factors, yeah, that might contribute to the students' achievement. Like, for example, you want to conduct an experiment of using what storytelling, perhaps, yeah, to the students. So you teach the students storytelling for several meetings. But besides storytelling, there is also another techniques in speaking that you employ to the students. Like, for example, extensive reading, like perhaps, yeah, we said you assign student to tell a story in the class for speaking. Then they also have another activities, yeah, like, for example, they having or participating in conversation club, for example, yeah, outside the class, yeah. And these students can show improvement in speaking. It is because of the storytelling technique or because they participate in English club as an extracurricular activities. Yeah. So we really need to minimize any other variables that might contribute to the result of your research. Jadi harus steril, ya, eksperimen itu kesulitan eksperimen, ya, and also time consuming because it's impossible if we just do 1, 2, 3 times and then all of a sudden the students speaking improve gitu ya.
Yes, that's impossible ya Bu ini.
Yeah, that's impossible gitu. Because it takes times. Ideally, it's 1 semester, I think. But of course, students do not have that
available
long time. To do, yeah, to do the research. Yeah. So if you have only, like, let's say 3 weeks, perhaps the difference between the result of pre-test and post-test is not significant, but there is a sign of improvement. You may argue that if you keep on doing this technique for 1 semester, the result will be significant. But because it's only 3 weeks, it's, well, sometimes the student assumes that when the result of the study, the hypothesis is accepted, like that's a good research. That's not the things, yeah. The result can be the opposite, yeah. Like, for example, the experiment, it does not indicate any improvement, for example. It doesn't mean that your research failed. Yeah. Because many students will modify the scores in order to...
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the honesty, yeah, the truth, the validity, the reliability of data is very important. Very important. So as a researcher, you cannot change the scores, student scores, as what you wish. Yeah. What is the research for then? If the result is predictable, is what is expected gitu. Jadi nggak usah khawatir gitu kalau hasil eksperimennya tidak menunjukkan peningkatan. As I said, if there is a little bit increase in the scores, there is a sign of improvement, but not significant. You might argue there are some reasons why the result is not significant, but there is a sign of improvement. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Tapi ini ada lagi nih, Riza.
Maybe we can postpone the student
Okay. Yeah. Kita belum masuk ke research methodology loh, aduh.
Ini karena materinya luar biasa ini Bu Wening, jadi mahasiswanya semangat juga mengikuti.
Iya. Karena it's really close to their assignment, Bu. It's really related to their assignment. Yeah, I think so. Okay, but thank you for your sharing. Okay, research methodology. Actually, we start with research methodology. So what is research methodology? It's a kinds of problems that a words investigate defines through methodology, we define what kinds of problems that we're investigating and frame them. Yeah. Research methodology determines what research approaches and research methods to use, and also how to understand what constitutes a legitimate and warranted explanation. Research methodology involves several activities like identifying problems, review of literature, formulating hypotheses, procedure for testing hypotheses, measurement, data collection, data analysis, yeah, interpreting result, and drawing conclusions. So all of these are the research methodology. Okay, so this is the we will lead to, so research methodology is a framework, yeah, for us to carry out our research. Here is some people misuse the term research method and research methodology. Okay, that's why in chapter 3 of our scriptsy or our thesis, we call it research methodology, not research method. Because in research methodology, there is a research method. So research method is a part of, is under the research methodology, like research philosophy. Yeah? In research, if we have research philosophy, then it goes to research methodology, and then with a particular theoretical justifications of our research, and then we decide the research method. So the research method is the strategy, the action we take to our research. But the research methodology is more as the framework for us to do the research. Yeah? So research method is the strategy employed in the collection of data or evidence or for analysis to uncover new information or arrive at a better understanding of a particular topic. Yeah. So a research method is the tool used in carrying out the research, while research methodology is the justification for using a particular research method. Yeah. This is, we explain why we use a particular research method. Yeah. So research, like for example, in this study, Gomez study on the language of English and its impact on international students' mental well-being in Australia. The language of English and it impacts on the migrants students, yeah, whose first language is not English. So how is the use of language English in the classroom impacts on the student well-being of the students, mental well-being. So Gomez decided to have a qualitative method to approach this study. Now, the research methodology explains why qualitative method is used in this particular study. So the research methodology is at the theoretical level, while research method is the action, the strategy. Yeah. Okay. So under the research methodology, there is data, the literature, the data collection method, the data analysis method. Yeah. That's under the umbrella term of research methodology. Okay, so research methodology is, in this case, is the theoretical positioning of the research, while research method is the doing of the research itself. The implementation of the theories underpinning a particular research method. Yeah? That's the research method. The research method is the action. The research methodology is the theory as the basis for research method to select the selected method. Yeah. So the research methodology is viewed as the body of knowledge with attempts to explain or understand how a research is done. So that's why in research methodology, we really need to know exactly our research philosophy, our research types, in order to be able to give reasons why these questions can be answered using a particular research method. And the research method is the entire plan in collecting and analyzing the data. Research methodology refers to the specific process or steps that researcher may follow in undertaking the study, whether it is when you have a qualitative approach and quantitative approach, then you follow a particular step or process, that's in the frame of research methodology. Research methodology. The research method can be like a survey, through observation. Okay, now research methodology is broader than research method. Some stages of research methodology, we start with formulating and clarifying a topic. Formulating and clarifying a topic. Like, for example, one of you mentions that you are interested in vocabulary mastery. And then we need to formulate and clarify a topic. We need to narrow down the topic, so that it is researchable. And then we review the related literature related to how to master vocabulary, why the technique is used to improve the student mastery of vocabulary. So review the literature and to find if there is any gaps, if there is any contrasting ideas that take place in the publications, in the research area in terms of vocabulary mastery, or is there any supporting theory that you can use in your research? So you review the literature. And then you design your research. What kind of data collection technique, analyzing technique, what sample you, what populations you use, or what instrument of you use, you design your research. And then you go to the field to collect the data, you analyze, and then you write up the result. Okay, let's talk about it one by one. How many minutes still we have, Bu Rini?
We still have 30 more minutes actually.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so in formulating topic, we need to ask ourselves whether it is feasible. We have capacity to do it. Like, for example, I'm interested to research aptitude. Aptitude is very abstract concept. It's in our mind. It's really difficult to measure. Do we have the capability to measure? The existing tools, questionnaire for aptitudes criticized by many experts because of the complexity of the aptitude theory, for example. So we better not investigating aptitude if we don't have a reliable, valid instrument to use, for example. The appropriateness, whether our topic is worth doing, whether the result can contribute to the existing knowledge or to my students, so it's worth doing or not. Relevance, whether it is relevant in our area, you are future teachers of English, for example, keguruan, whether the topic of pure literatures relevant or not, because many of my students come up with content analysis on novel, for example. If there is no relation to the teaching of English, I think it is still possible to examine, to analyze a novel, but in the contributions, you should argue that there is a contribution to the teaching and learning of English. So that's the so, and then it's need to be of your own interest. It start from reading the or refer to past research. Yeah, we are talking about the gap. Yeah, what new about of our topic, yeah? And we try to write our topic into research question. The research question should using SMART approach. It should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Yeah, specific, not too broad. Yeah, not too broad. And measurable, it can be measured. Achievable, we can end up with the answer to our. We can answer the question. Realistic, yeah, and timely. It's based or just quite. We can manage to do our to answer the research question with the available time. Okay. I think we just skip it. Yeah. And then reviewing literature, we go to the next step is to review the literature. You review the literature to know what existing research related to our topic. And we try to find the gaps. And then we try to find the supporting theories for our research. And then whether our research fit to the existing literature. Okay, just skip this. And then when we read, when we do literature review, we try to find the key concept of our source. Yeah, what theories, whether the theories can support our research, and who the authors are, whether the authors are important person in our field. Yeah. Prominent researchers in our field. Yeah, we should find references that the VVIP, yeah, the very important person in our field, yeah, as our references. Yeah. And then we read, not only read, but we need to synthesize the sources. Whether the article fit to our research, whether there are contradicts issues in our research, yeah, that need to be clarified, and where is our position in the contradictory theoretical issues, and whether the theory will build one theory will be the foundation for another theory, so building the theory, or if the theory will support us to move forward in our research. So this is, we need to synthesize the sources, comparing one article to another article, yeah, not only focusing on one article, but read lots of articles and then do synthesizing. I think in academic writing, you learn how to paraphrase, how to summarize, how to synthesize. That's the writing skills that are very important to avoid plagiarism. Yeah. So in writing your research result, it's really need to keep in mind that you find ways to avoid plagiarism. And paraphrasing, summarizing, and synthesizing are skills that will keep us for plagiarism, because plagiarism is considered criminal in academic context. Jadi karena banyak students yang copy paste, ya, copy paste without properly quote or cite the sources.
One of another phenomenon here is not only about copy paste, Ibu Wening, but their chapter 2 seems just like a collections of theories.
Yeah, it's like a textbook, right?
Yeah.
Listing 1, 2, 3, 4, like vocabulary, and then divide the vocabulary into word, into phrases. It's like a textbook. But reviewing a literature is not like that. So you have to read critically. You have to synthesize the sources, comparing one another, and then don't forget to mention where is your position if there is a contradicting theory issues. Yeah. Okay. Okay, and then you design a research. Yeah. Designing a research is a plan for answering a research question. Yeah? What is the the aims and the approach, whether it is qualitative and quantitative or mixed method, which type of design, whether it is experiment or case study, yeah? And how to select the participant, how to collect the data, what procedure to follow in collecting the data, and what analysis strategy do you use. So you think about the plan, step-by-step plan. Yeah. So research design is the plan, while research method is the strategy to implement the plan. Okay, and then you collect the data, and the data collection technique can be in language, in English language teaching and learning. You might have data in form of verbal data for qualitative study through observation, interview, yeah, or numerical data in form of numbers. Okay. Yeah, in numerical, you use tests. If we need student scores, we give tests, we give questionnaire. So that's in collecting the data. And the sample is used if you, the sample consists of one or more cases. If it is human being, if we deal with human being, we call it subject or participants. If we deal with things, and then we call it objects. Yeah? Like corpora of written verbal discourse. Yeah? That's the objects. But we deal with students, teachers, then we call it a subject or participants. Yeah? This is for quantitative study. You have sampling technique. Yeah? The purpose is to generalize the data gathered from the sample. Yeah? You infer the result of the study from the sample to the population. Yeah? Some example of popular sampling strategy is simple random or stratified random sampling. Yeah? This is for quantitative study. But for qualitative study, you have a purposeful on non-probability sampling. Yeah. In-depth information gathering. Yeah. Usually you have criteria to set beforehand. Not you already have targeted subject and then you make a criteria. No, so you have to begin with criteria and then you select the subject, participant. Okay, that's the data collections. Yeah, I just make it fast. So we have still have so that we can have time for another question and answer session here. I think this is a review of what you have got from your research class. So quantitative and numerical, to analyze data in quantitative in form of numerical data, usually you use statistics, yeah? Whether it is descriptive statistic or inferential statistic to process your data. While in qualitative, your data is in form of verbal data, and you analyze the collected data through these 6 kinds of data analysis for qualitative study are common, yeah, mostly used: thematic analysis, content analysis, discourse analysis, grounded analysis, narrative analysis, or phenomenology or heuristic analysis. Yeah. Most of my students use thematic analysis, content analysis. Yeah, if they study textbooks, yeah, usually they have content analysis in analyzing the data. Yeah. Grounded analysis, it's more on basic research. Yeah, because we start from facts in order to end up with a theory, with a knowledge. Yeah. We can also do that actually in this is a very qualitative study. Yeah. Narrative analysis. Yeah. Dealing with narrative analysis, we need to think about the subjectivity. Sometimes the research opinion is there rather than the participants' opinion. Yeah. Sometimes the research opinions interfere the analysis of the data. So the subjectivity need to be controlled to a certain extent. Okay. When we use statistic in our quantitative study, then statistic can summarize sample data to be generalized to the population, and then make estimate about the population and to test hypothesis. For example, when our data is in form of student English scores, and then we tend to use statistical analysis in descriptive analysis. We try to find the mean, yeah, the average, the medium, and the mode, and the standard deviation. Yeah. For inferential statistic, we test hypothesis. Yeah. The statistic can be descriptive, can be inferential. So if we have a correlation study, and then we first go calculate descriptive statistic, and then we compute the inferential statistic to see whether there is an association between two or more variables. Yeah, in qualitative research, the data are usually very dense with informations and ideas. In qualitative, we have lots of transcript, for example, from the interview. Of course, we need to comb through the data in detail, sort out the data, yeah, interpret the meaning, and then we extract parts of the interview transcripts that are relevant to our research questions. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Should we go to this? Yeah. Thematic analysis. Okay. Ibu Syahrini, sorry, can I take
yeah, Ibu.
1 minute? I need to go to the restroom.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. Sebentar ya,
It's
1
okay, Bu
minute.
Eni, yeah.
Perhaps you can read the table first. Sorry for this emergency.
It's all right. Okay, students, especially the ones who have class with me, make sure that you use this chance to ask questions or participate actively in this event, so that at least you can get 5 bonus score if you participated. And if you make it better, you will get for about 15 score. Hi, Miss Eliza, do you have any questions? Okay, for students who have questions in the chat room, we will discuss the questions after Ibu Wening present all the material. Silakan diisi juga link absennya, sudah di-share oleh Miss Feni di kolom chatnya. Apa ada yang mau bertanya dulu? Mungkin biar bisa di list pertanyaannya sambil menunggu Bu Ening kembali. Oke, Bu
I'm
Ening is
back.
here.
Sorry. Yeah, so in data analysis, yeah, we have thematic analysis, discourse analysis. Thematic analysis, when we find patterns in the data and then we labeling recurring topics and concepts, yeah. And then we group them into a broader themes. Ini penting ya untuk kalau thematic analysis mengelompokkannya. So for example here. Sorry, I can't see the cursor. Yeah. Analyzing a set of interview or focus group discussion transcript on research, yeah, researching using technology in language classroom. So we interview teachers on their experience in using technology or experience or perceptions in the use of technology in language classroom. Yeah, we analyze a set of interview transcript because we then go to thematic analysis. In this course analysis, we analyze language, what is said and how it is said with social context and structures. How social context influence a text, a discourse. Like, for example, the power of question, a discourse analysis about teacher and students interaction, how social context influence the way the teachers pose question and how the way the students respond to the questions. And then we analyze the interaction, the conversation between teacher and students. And content analysis evaluate patterns within one or more concepts. Yeah. Like, for example, we study a collection of political speeches to find the frequency of certain ideas shared. Yeah. With the period of a presidential election, for example, we collect speeches from different politicians, and then we try to get the frequency of ideas shared. Yeah. So there is a kind of a part of quantitative in that case because we are counting the frequency, but then we qualify this quantity data, the frequency, into qualitative description. And then narrative analysis analyze people's story to derive meanings. A story of a good language learners from a remote area. My supervisor did a research on a student, one student whose English is very good. He lived in a remote area with limited facilities, a very difficult circumstances. But because of when my supervisor want to know why, yeah, what did he do so that he could be able to speak English fluently, yeah, with good proficiency of English. Then he found out that motivation become the reasons why that trigger him to do a lot of things in order to improve his English. Okay? That's the narrative because it's listening to him, this particular student telling a story. Grounded theory built a new theory based on the data. We observe the classroom change within the COVID-19 context. We try to find the concept of how the pandemic, the online learning, the emergency remote learning change the classroom situation. And then a numerological, a heuristic analysis explore people's personal interpretation or experiences of life event. Like, for example, teachers' point of view, on managing class during the pandemic. Yeah. So during emergency remote learning, yeah. This is past experience. Teachers telling the story about their teaching practice during the emergency remote learning. That's the numerological or heuristic analysis. Now, in dealing with qualitative study, because it is very subjective, we are afraid that the researchers' own opinions, beliefs are there, then or the data, whether the data is valid or reliable or not, then triangulation is very important in qualitative study. For quantitative, we try out the instrument. In qualitative, we need to have to show that our research is valid, the validity of our research through triangulation. So triangulation refers to the use of multiple methods or data sources in qualitative research to develop a comprehensive understanding of a phenomenon. The triangulation is used to increase the validity or to ensure the quality of study. So it's a must to have a triangulation in qualitative study. This is the kind of method, from method to strategy to philosophy. You can look at this picture later. And here is the I think I put the slide in the wrong order. This is the related to validity. Sorry, triangulation. Yeah, validity, triangulation. We can do triangulation through many ways. One, methods. Through investigator, theory, data sources, yeah, and then the data analysis. Through method, we can adopt not only one method, we interview and we also observe, right? In the classroom, student participation, we observe the classroom and then we interview some particular students which we believe that can give information, rich information. Yeah? So we combine with interview and observation, or sometimes in mixed method, we combine methods. We combine survey and interview. Yeah? We give survey to all students in one school, and then based on the survey result, we classified students into high achiever, low achiever, or middle achiever, and then we interview the representative of each groups. Yeah? So as a explanatory mixed method, we explain the quantitative data, because quantitative quality, there are strengths and weaknesses, and sometimes we as a researcher want to combine them in order to solve the problems in each method. So triangulation can be method using more than one method. On investigator, we interview, the interviewer is not only one, but 2 or 3 interviewers, and then we check the result of the interview, yeah? Whether there is a similarity of or differences. Of course, we want to make a confirmations that the data we gather is valid, reliable. Yeah? Or theory, yeah? Theoretical triangulations, that the data, whether our data is based on particular theory and compared to another theory, whether there are contradiction or whether it's bring to the middle position. Yeah. And then we can also have usually this is the common one. Data sources. Yeah, we interview students, we interview teachers, we interview headmasters, yeah, to confirm that the data is valid. Or in analysis, whether we start with deductive and then inductive kind of analysis. Jadi, triangulation is very important if you do qualitative data analysis. Okay, and then writing up, after completion of research, reporting is important to disseminate to others, depending on what kinds of reports, whether it is thesis or dissertation or journal article. Of course, you need to follow particular conventions. If your department has issued guidelines in writing thesis, then you need to follow. Whether usually the style you use apa in our field of study, applied linguistics, we usually the convention in writing using APA style, American Psychology Association style, and then we need to follow how to cite, how to make a references, and how to what should be included in our report. So you need to follow a particular template used in our department. Okay. And the last point to consider, point to ponder. When we do research, think of the impact of researcher personal feelings and beliefs. We need to set aside our personal beliefs and feelings in order to avoid bias in our research, because we are researching particular subject. We are not talking about ourselves, but we are talking about other subjects or objects. So we really need to control ourselves not to include our personal feelings in that kind of research. And then with access to data, whether we have access to data or not. If we are researching something which is confidential, we cannot get the data, of course, it's useless. We should think that we can collect the data. And then time, whether how long we can do the research, what resources do we have. We need to consider that. And then we need to consider the validity and reliability of the data. Whether we can get valid data from particular group of students or particular group of teachers. And then how can we get the data valid? We also think about our instrument. We think about our interview protocols. And then the ethical issues. When we are dealing with human beings, of course, we need ethical issues. We need to have a consent that should be signed by our participants. And usually we do not reveal the names, the identity of the subjects for these ethical issues. So that's some factors that we need to consider when we want to do the research. I think that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, there's a very great presentation. Thank you so much, Ibu Wening Diaz. So far, our students have some questions in our chat room. Okay. So far, there are 4 questions, Ibu Wening. The first one is from Riza Safitri. Riza have question related to using audio visual media in teaching. He said she still needs any suggestion on this topic, using audio visual media in teaching.
Riza Safitri, yeah?
Yes.
I'm Riza. Want to ask question how using audio visual in teaching. Okay. Audio visual media in teaching. Okay. It's very broad. Yeah. Are you going to use like audiovisual? Very broad. You need to be specific. Whether you're using a digital video, digital storytelling video as a media, learning media. Whether you want to use what? Okay, Reza. Can you be more specific on the audiovisual media, or using audiovisual media?
Okay, Riza, are you here, Riza?
Because it's very broad, yeah. I need to know what you really want to, interested in investigating.
All right, Riza, are you here?
It can be pictures.
Yes, maybe you can ask question directly to Ibu Wening.
Yeah, hello Riza. Riza. Nice
Hello,
to see
Miss.
you in this meeting. You are interested to do research on audio visual media in teaching from the point of view, from teacher point of view, yeah? From teacher point of view or from students point of view?
Teacher point of view, Miss.
Okay, teacher points of view. You can also perhaps investigate pre-service teachers when they do teaching practice. Yeah. How they use the media, yeah, the use of media. Whether usually when it deals with audiovisual media, and then we use the theory of TPEC, technology, pedagogical, content, and content knowledge framework, to investigate whether the students have appropriately used the audiovisual media. So you can investigate pre-service teachers, the students who do teaching, micro-teaching, or teaching practicum at schools, and how they use the media. You might have interview of observation, yeah, whether the use of media on online learning or offline learning. Yeah, so you really need to be more specific. And I think it's more on qualitative rather than quantitative study. You need observation, and then you need interview your research subject.
Yes.
Or from, if it is from student side, and then you might ask student perceptions on the pre-service teachers teaching using a particular media. You might go to where you can get the data from the teachers or from the students, for example. And what media, the teaching media, you want to know that in general what teaching media is used, how they use it, or what is the teacher's belief in the selecting certain teaching media. Yeah, teachers' belief in using audiovisual media, yeah, in teaching English. Yeah. So you might narrow down into focus topic. Yeah, is there any more question?
Riza sudah paham, Miss. Thank you.
Lebih ke kualitatif ya, semua kualitatif.
Okay, Ibu Wening, we still have 3 more questions. Is it okay, for
Make
you?
it fast, yeah. Make it fast.
Okay. The question from Siti Nurliza.
Okay. I'm Siti Nurliza. Want to ask about create good motivation to find our sources for the theory and increase student motivation. To ask about how we can create good motivation to find our resources or theory. Oh, do you mean that you want to investigate students' motivation? Increase reading motivation in doing research. Increase reading motivation.
I think it's not about, I think the question is about how to build her own motivations to finding out the theory.
Our own. Our own.
Yes, Miss.
Yeah. Yeah. First, of course, there is a need. Yeah. If there is a need, there is a motivation. If you need to get information for your research, then you are motivated to explore articles. Yeah. And I think you also need to practice speed reading or critical reading, yeah, strategic reading, how to read a textbook, an article. Yeah. There are some techniques to read, like skimming. You skim the title, you skim the graphs, the figures, you skim the subchapter in order to get the idea what is the text about, whether you can continue to read in details or not. If you read journal articles and then you go to the abstract, yeah, you go to the abstract first before you decide whether you want to continue to the full paper or not, right? Because I'm sure that you have a lot of things to read, but you have limited time. So of course, you have to need to be able to read effectively. Yeah, like what I suggest, one way is when you read article, read the abstract. If you think that the abstract, the content of the article from the abstract, it shows that very relevant to your research, you can use this theory or you can use the information, and then you go to read in more details. So first, how to good motivation, you need to have to feel the need of reading, yeah, and then you search the topics, the article. If you find that, of course, you find the title first. If the title is seems convincing, and then you go to the abstract, and if you think that, okay, this is the article that I'm looking for, and then you go to read the full paper. Yeah. And if in full paper, perhaps you need to know the theory or the methodology or which part of the article you need to get information from, and then you go to that point. If you have a lot of things to read, but you have limited time, right? Ada kebutuhan untuk membaca, itu akan menimbulkan motivasi. But we cannot force someone to have motivation. It should come from yourself. And you can have that when you have the feeling of, I need it. If you don't feel I don't need it, then there is no use for other people to force you to read. It should come from yourself.
Okay.
Semangat ya, Siti.
Targetnya tamat 3,5 tahun.
Yeah.
Okay, next questions from Astri Nugraha.
Yeah. I'm semester 6. Just the more about that, I have whole question in mind, but the point is, how can we find out the problem and how do we select the research method? Oh, tip and trick. Okay. As the beginners, of course, we are like in the wild, yeah, in the forest, in the jungle of research. There are lots of things, but you have went through 3 years, yeah, 3.5 years at the English department. You learn many subjects related to your field, and then you might have an interest in a particular subject, right? So you begin with, I'm interested in TEFL, for example, yeah, teaching techniques. Yeah. Then you try to read articles which is related to your interest. So again, reading, reviewing literatures is a way to get us an idea of what to research. Yeah. So we get our idea by reading article in our interest, field of interest. Yeah. And then we try to read how this researcher conducted his or her study, the methodology. Yeah. So when you're confused which methodology you use, then you go to the philosophy of research, whether your research problem can be answered using tests, using questionnaire, or no, we cannot use student scores. We have to get the information from directly from the subject. Then we interview the students. Then of course we do qualitative method. Yeah. So it depends on what problems you have, and then your belief in how the problem can be answered, how you can get the knowledge, the philosophy, and then you go to the research methodology and research method. Yeah. To get the idea, one thing is read a lot, read journal articles a lot of your own interest. Yeah. Tidak yang macam-macam, tetapi membaca yang topik yang Anda tertarik. So, for example, language testing, ya. For example, sociolinguistics. Ya. For example, you are interested in analyzing textbooks. Ya. And you try to find article relevant to that issue. The latest publications, the last 5 years publications, gitu ya. Okay, and then
there is one last question, Ibu, from Priscilla.
Priscilla, I want to ask Miss, what are characteristics of good research question? Thank you. Okay, a good research question, I think we go to ada di slide saya ya, karena tadi cepat-cepat. Saya carikan slide-nya tadi. I think yeah, this one, yeah. So in formulating a topic or research question, we need to identify the attribute of a good research topic. A good research topic should be, it has the characteristic, capability, the capability of we as the researchers. Is it feasible, whether we have the skills to do this research? Yeah. If we are weak in counting, computing, I think we are good in playing with words, we go to qualitative. But if we still want to have a quantitative study, perhaps we can ask help from friends who are good in statistics. So we look at, is it feasible? We have skills to do that research, that it is appropriate, giving a good result, and whether it is relevant. That's when we allocate the topic, yeah? Whether the topic is relevant to our field or not. Yeah? And then we generate idea, yeah? Through logical thinking and through creative thinking. Through logical thinking, we use facts. Logical thinking, whether it is our interest or not, whether it relates to previous data. Yeah? And then we search in the literature whether there is a gap in this topic. In creative thinking, and then we brainstorm ideas. Yeah? We relate to our personal preferences and relevance. And then we turn this topic into a good research question. Yeah? Good research question should be clear and objective. We can refer to SMART approach. The research question should be specific, it should be focused, it's not too broad. Yeah? It should be measurable, it can be measured through tests or through qualitative information. Achievable, we can answer that research question. And then realistic in times, in location, for example, in context, yeah? And then timely. Yeah? It is, we can finish it, collect the data in one semester, not in longitudinal study, for example, following the language development of students from babies or from toddler to school time, yes, as a schoolboy, as school students, longitudinal study. It takes 1 year to do this research, for example. Of course, we cannot do that. Yeah, we maximum, I think, to do the research, we can just our period of time in doing the research is to collect the data, especially. I think 1 semester is maximum, I think. Okay, so the characteristic of a good test, perhaps you can refer to SMART approach in this slide. Later, I'm going to share this. Perhaps I can send to Ibu Loli later. the slides. Okay.
Okay, I think the last question is the end of our discussions for today's event, Ibu Wening. But because most of the students asked me to get the your materials, your PPT, is it okay for us to get it later?
Yeah, I'm going to share it later to Ibu.
Okay, thank you so much, Ibu Wening. I cannot say how much I can say thank you for your honor to explain all the materials to my students today. But we have to end our meeting today. And before we close this event, I would like to invite Miss Loli Safitri as the head of English Education Department to give one or two words for Ibu Wening. The screen is yours, Miss Loli.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Rini. Okay, well, thank you so much for Bu Wening Tias Prama Iswari. We get a lot of knowledge dealing with research methodology, and also we get motivations for our students, especially it's meant that for your student that you completely understand about the material and you can apply the knowledge and you can write your proposal and thesis sooner. So there is no doubt for you. You will get a good idea what kind of topic that will be take for your proposal, and yeah, there is no confusion for you ya. Tidak ada lagi mungkin keraguan nantinya bakal seperti apa nanti, mau dimulai dari mana nanti researchnya yang akan dilakukan di next semester. Okay, so again, thank you so much, Bu Dr. Wening Tias Prama Iswari MBD. A lot of knowledge we get related to the research methodology, and also many experiences, many idea related to that topic. And we hope that our students can get knowledge and apply that knowledge in the form of writing the proposal and thesis sooner. And we do believe that our students will write the proposal and will continue to writing the thesis sooner in order to finish their study as soon as possible. And also thank to our dean and also the vice dean who allow us holding this event. And also thank you for our lecturers who are able to coming or who are able joining this event today, and also especially for our students who are able to joining this meeting to get much knowledge from Ibu Wening from this morning to this time. Yeah. Okay. And also thank you so much, Miss Absarini, as the moderator today, and also Miss Fanny as the host today. Yeah, again, thank you so much, Wenny, for the valuable information, knowledge, and having time with us. Walau sudah di akhir bulan puasa menjelang Lebaran ya, Bu Wenny. Thank you so much.
Sama-sama.
Okay, so if there is some mistakes in this activity from the beginning to the end, please forgive us. And by saying Alhamdulillah Ya Rabbil Alamin, we end this session for Studium General with the theme research methodology in English language teaching. Okay, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, the last one. Thank you so much, Ibu Wening Tias Iswari. I do really expect that in the future I can meet you directly in a very good moment. Mudah-mudahan kami bisa berkunjung ke sana atau Ibu Wening bisa berkunjung kembali ke Bukit Tinggi.
Really want to go back to Bukit Tinggi.
Yes. Makan nasi kapau di Bukit Tinggi ya, Bu.
Nasi kapau. Oh, the rice very fragrant ya.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much, Ibu Wening. Thank you to all the lecturers, students, especially to all the students who really participate actively in this event. I do really expect that this event can help you to improve your knowledge related to research methodology, and you can propose a better proposal at the end of this semester.
Amin.
Okay, by saying alhamdulillah and sorry for any mistake I made, I end this event. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Bu Rini.
Ya, thank you, Bu.
Dan rekan-rekan yang di Bukit Tinggi, adik-adik, cepat selesai ya. Oke, thank you.
Ya, Ibu, thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Izin live ya, Ibu.
Iya, Ibu.
Izin live, Miss Loli, Miss Rini.
Oke, thank you, Miss Eliza. Thank you, Bapak Ibu semua. Bagi mahasiswa yang belum absen, silahkan diisi absennya di link karena batas waktu pengisian absen dibatasi sampai pukul 11.30. Thank you.